Thank you very much for coming back to Oscar's Cafe Corner. Today is a very, very, very special effing episode. I'm definitely going to be diving into some passionate rant, and this one's going to be probably the most heavily sports-related topic on this one than I think I've done before. So let's dive right in. I don't know if a lot of you saw the conference championship games over the weekend, and I'm referring to, let's start off little by little before I go all crazy in my rant with my shit. So, number one, if you guys didn't see the conference championship between the Patriots and the Broncos, you didn't miss much. The game was 10-7. It was absolutely boring. And I understand that the weather in that area where they were playing, snow, it's cold, you're going to play a little bit slower, the ball's going to travel a certain way. You're more than likely going to miss a lot of field goals, which the Broncos did. But because there was no Bo Nix, it was basically just Drake May and his team basically to lose it. Surprisingly, the Broncos defense, knowing that they were phenomenal the entire year, they basically held it down. So they held the Patriots. It was tied 7-7, multiple field goals missed on opposite sides. At the end, the Patriots just did enough and basically to hold them down. And Broncos, to all their credit, they had plenty of opportunities. The weather wasn't there. They had a backup of playing, and they had zero movement with the ball. And it didn't help that their kicker missed 2 fucking field goals, but that's basically what it was. But so did the Patriots. The Patriots missed a field goal, and so did the Broncos. And if you had not known or seen that money line in the very beginning before the games even started, the spread was going to be 5.5. New England, which basically they were hoping that New England was going to win that game just because Bo Nix not being there. Automatically, Drake May and the Patriots were going to be having a hard pass. You had to seriously mess it up for you to lose that game. And the Broncos just barely did enough for them to stay in it. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to get over the hump. Now, if some of you do not know, Bo Nix obviously injured himself, but what a lot of people don't know, and there's a rumor going around that Mr. Bo Nix, after the previous game on this one, which took him to the conference championship, was doing some excessive celebration shit in the damn locker room that prompted him to completely just obliterate his foot. So he made it worse. Now, you're not going to hear it on social media. You're not going to see it. However, there is certain accounts on Instagram that are verified by people that are monitoring the team and follow the players, and there is anonymous resources or sources that are saying that Bo Nix fucked up his foot celebrating inside the locker room, which is stupid. I mean, as a player and as an athlete, you have to seriously manage your own emotions unless you're there, right? Act like you've been there before. Act like you're ready to take the next step. And the Broncos and Bo Nix, apparently that didn't happen. And this happens even at the college level, happens at the high school level, where basically you are a hidden gem, a serious talent, right? With potential opportunity to play in college or even maybe semi-pro or maybe even pro. And that pool of players, once they get after high school, becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. So you would think that you would be a little bit more responsible in how you act and how you behave. Unfortunately, Mr. Bo Nix didn't get the memo, or he was overly excited and he messed himself up. I mean, I think I've heard of some crazy stories about people that were getting ready to embark on a collegiate career. And I'm going to share a story from one of my coworkers, right? So one of my coworkers, Frank, and he is a business developer for the company I currently work with, because, you know, your boy still has to work 9 to 5. So I don't make enough doing these podcasts for me to say, oh, no, fuck it, I'm going to hang him up, buddy, and do this shit full time. Not going to happen. So anyway, back to the story. So he's got 2 kids. Both of them grew up in Venezuela. his kids as well, obviously. And they came over to the United States back in the early 99s, 2000s. And his kids had already played at comp level in Venezuela. And so they were very, very experienced players. Then they came over to the States and they played for Logan High School, and they did phenomenal. They killed it. They were crushing it. I think in the season that the kids first played, they scored 21 goals and they almost scored 18. So it was a dominant season by Logan. And that was in their that was in their sophomore year. And then in their junior year, they killed it again. And then their senior year, they were doing phenomenal even more, to the point where they had gotten offers from Stanford, from Berkeley, and from San Francisco State University. Not San Francisco State, I'm sorry, San Jose State. Oh, not San Jose State. What the fuck am I talking about? San Francisco USF, I think, University of San Francisco. And it was going to be a full ride, paid program for them to play soccer. And as soon as they get the offers, they basically, the story goes that the way that Frank shared it was that the kids went over to Santa Cruz and they wanted to play with their friends. They wanted to play beach soccer, which, if you don't follow the sport, any sport that you play in the beach and you play in sand is ridiculously exhausting. And you have to be, even for athletes, is just a lot going on with your body placement, etc. So apparently one of his kids was playing soccer and he fell in a mound in the beach and destroyed his knee. He landed wrong. The ankle was fine. It rolled over the ankle, but I guess there's a bone or a ligament in your knee. It's called a meniscus or something like that completely snapped. And this is before he played one single day in college soccer. And the school looked at him and said, well, now you're going to have to go ahead and we're going to have to really renegotiate or take a look at the scholarships. But fortunately, there was a clause within the scholarship that they were still covered regardless of whether the athlete was injured long-term or not. So that was a saving grace. His son continued out and finished at University of San Francisco, and currently he is the not athletic director, but I guess he works in the athletic department for Major League Soccer, for MLS in New York. So he's got a very big, very big deal. It's a very big deal. His other son sees this, and instead of thinking to himself, yeah, I'm going to try to take care of myself, 2 months later, he goes out and plays soccer with his buddies at the park, just for shits and giggles. They were having a barbecue, having a good old time. They invited girls over. It was going to be a big old thing, and they decided to play soccer. And I'm not sure if some of you know, some of the fields out in the cities are not very pristine. They're not synthetic turf and are usually not very well kept, right? There's a lot of mounds, a lot of peaks and valleys, and there's a lot of gopher activity, rodents, ground squirrels, whatever you want to call it. And so he fell into one of the holes, the ground squirrels holes, basically, and he broke his ankle and messed up his ligaments or some shit. The point is that he was never the same either. So they both missed out these opportunities. Now, again, these are messages for athletes that some of you listening by chance might want to convey that as well, meaning that it's great if you want to play with your family. However, you have to be mindful and not necessarily, you don't have to prove anything to your family that you're good. Obviously, if you are being entertained or having conversations that you will be playing at a collegiate level or semi-pro, obviously you're good enough for people to invest in you. So you don't need to show your family shit. If anything, you got to take care of your body, do your exercises, do your stretches. And then I have one of my nephews out in Seattle, out in Washington, not Seattle, but in Tri-Cities in Kennewick. And he does very well. He's a great athlete, very good athlete, plays any sport, jack of all trades, plays football, plays basketball. And he's just an athlete in general. And he's got a very bright future if it's managed well, and if he takes care of himself well enough for him to go that route. But then usually we have our 1-year family reunions and he's running around doing sprints, curls, because he just wants to be active because he's an athlete. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, dude, this kid is like one injury away from destroying his career. So this is a message I hope to convey to him when I see him to, hey, JP, you got to take it easy, bro. You don't got to go all in. You don't got to go ham. You don't got to prove to your family nothing. And the thing that sucks is that our family is so very much competitive. Even in fucking volleyball, we are competitive. And I mean, we're diving, we're talking shit to each other, we're drinking, we're barbecuing, talking smack, and it's just nonstop. So, and mind you, we all get injured. Some of us are in our early 50s, some are 60s. Hell, my father-in-law is in his 70s and he still plays volleyball. And he's out there diving. And then they're playing against 20-something-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and 40-year-olds. So you can tell that it's a very interesting game, right? But there's so much competitive drive in that family that is absolutely insane. So when you go into that court, trust me, it's not nice shit. It ain't kind of like, oh, it's okay if you fuck up, buddy. Nah, fuck that. They tear your ass a brand new one, dude. They really genuinely make you feel like you need to fucking seriously reconsider your life choices and just walk off the fucking court. So, but that's family for you. But I don't want to digress or deviate from the games over the weekend, right? So then that was the game that to me was a complete snooze fest. Now, this is the one that I'm going to dive into. So this one, I want to dedicate this segment of the show to Mr. John, mi compadre, my compa, out in the Kennewick area. I'm sorry, in the Othello, Washington area. And John, this little segment's for you, bud. So to you avid Seahawks fans that are out there and are happy and jolly and fucking losing your shit because you guys are going to the Super Bowl, I need you guys to settle the fuck down, all right? Everybody just chill. The 12s and that shenanigan and that shit is utterly obnoxious. And I'm saying it as a Niner fan, obviously, and I'm pretty upset and pissed off that my team is shit. And I guess a part of me is just being salty, right? I mean, if I had to pick between the Rams and the Seahawks, to be really honest, I was rooting for the Rams just because the LA Rams don't really have a consistent fan base. I mean, LA Rams, they went to St. Louis and then they came back to LA. Who are you really fucking rooting for? There isn't enough of a history with the LA Rams currently right now with this demographic that is able to even name players out on the field. Like the Rams just seems like the Raiders, it's a destination game, meaning like, hey, I'm in LA, let me catch the Rams this weekend, right? Or if I'm in Las Vegas, let me catch the Raiders, right? And whoever they're playing. Not necessarily because you're expecting to see a massive, great product out on the field, but because you just want to be and enjoy the ambiance. And I feel like LA with Hollywood and et cetera and all the celebrities, I feel that that's what it gets. But they've been successful, right? I mean, you have Sean McVay, who came from the same school as Kyle Shanahan, and they're two very, very talented, offensive-minded coaches, and high energy, high-strung guy, and they've been very successful at their craft. Now, the difference between the San Francisco 49ers and the Rams is that the Rams, I think like 5 or 6 years ago, when Aaron Donald was still on the team, they decided to go all in, and they invested 3 or 4 years of their future to win a Super Bowl. They went all out, and they did. They fucking won out, and they got Matthew Stafford, who was already a little bit later in age. They drafted him. They traded Goff and got Matthew Stafford from the Lions because the guy is just a natural, really good talent. He was just in a really shitty team with a really bad coach at the time, and they traded for Goff. This is before Campbell went over to the Lions and made the program what it is now. But, and you know, the pieces that they have, and the Lions are just a good team. They just need better coaching. So the Rams went all in, they won a Super Bowl, and then the San Francisco 49ers signed a 10-year contract with Kyle Shanahan with the expectations of, hey, we might get a couple. Well, the opportunities were there. We've been there a couple of times against the Kansas City Chiefs, and we lost our ass twice. Even though we were winning both games, we still managed to lose. Now, here comes the Seahawks. Man, this part of the segment is a toughie. So, the Seahawks organization, and I will say this as nicely as possible. Let me take a deep breath here, because it pains me to say this portion of it. The general manager for the Seahawks, that man needs a raise and everything positive, all the treats that you can think of for this guy. And I'm going to give you his name because I don't want to be that guy and not share something like that, right? Seattle Seahawks GM. So, John Schneider has done an absolutely amazing job with that team. Between the draft picks, the ballsy-ass move of hiring McDonald, the coach, Mike McDonald, and then not only that, he took a risk getting rid of and walking away of Pete Carroll, who had won him a Super Bowl, and then walking away from Russell Wilson, who also gave him Super Bowl rings, and basically said, you know what, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this team from scratch. So he got Mike McDonald. He got rid of Pete Carroll, who was already getting long in the tooth, and at this point, he was basically already figured out. And he picked up a couple of really key pieces, got really young on the defense, which now is showing dividends, which is proving that it is damn fucking good. That defense is fast as shit. They're strong, quick. I mean, and they're all healthy, dude. Like, they're fucking healthy. I mean, you look at the Niners IR room, it looks like a fucking general hospital out in Oakland, California, dude, where it's like completely packed and everybody's fucking in there, dude, for whatever, a cough, a bad knee, Achilles, good God. But the Seahawks have managed to navigate their team well enough to remain successful and remain relevant. They haven't necessarily always been at the top when the Niners were at the top, but they did just enough to make it competitive. And even with Pete Carroll, anytime you had a division game, you knew you were going to get a challenge. It wasn't one of those gimmies when you play the Seahawks, like, oh, we're going to beat them to shit. No, it's not. Whenever you have a division game, it's just more tougher than normal. And Mike McDonald took a chance and traded for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was from USC and a top 5 pick in the draft years ago and has been on a team carousel ever since up until now. And I think it was up until the San Francisco 49ers took a chance on him and made him a backup, I think 3 years ago, that his season finally started turning around. He started showing the scouts and people that he did actually have good talent. He was just given really shitty coaches, like out at the Jets. I mean, come on, what the fuck do you expect when you play for the Jets? You're not going to be winning Super Bowls for that team. That organization is just a complete and utter shit show. And then after he left the San Francisco 49ers, he went over to the Minnesota Vikings, who gave Sam Darnold an opportunity, and they fucking smashed. But unfortunately, Mr. Sam Darnold fell short, and they got eliminated in the playoffs after having a phenomenal season. And I think that was a couple of years ago, where Thielen was going off, Justin Jefferson was showing out. I remember this because in fantasy football, those were the two players that were fucking going to give you hella points all the time. That was just consistent. So they take a chance on Darnold. And I'm sorry, Niner fans, this is going to be a little bit a Seattle-heavy fucking topic and segment, but I got to give props where props are due. The fans are absolutely fucking obnoxious. My compa, as much as I love the fucking guy, he's still annoying as shit. Because now when I go see him in Seattle, I mean, not in Seattle, but in Washington, I know that that's all I'm going to see. the teal green or baby blue green, whatever fucking color you guys got going on over there, dude. But whatever that is, I'm going to see plenty of it. I know for a fact that the Seahawks are going to be major players for a handful of years because they are young. So the Niners, if you're a Niner fan, buckle in because it's going to be crazy fucking 3 to 4 years that we're going to have to be hearing the 12s, the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, it's just, I'm fucking over it, dude. I'm so done with it. But back to the team. So Mike McDonald and Schneider, they built this team to what it is now. And then they land on one of the craziest fucking wide receivers that we haven't seen in a minute. Jackson Smith-Njigba. And it's unfortunate that I actually learned how to pronounce his fucking name because he's actually relevant. At the beginning of the season, even when we were doing the draft for fantasy football, I wasn't sure if the Darnold and JSN dynamic would actually take over, but shit, has it taken over. I mean, he's a great, strong, phenomenal slot receiver, or he can go deep because he's got the speed. He's got phenomenal route running. He's completely reliable, a fucking athlete. He's got amazing hands. Just fucking throw it his way and he'll just catch it. He's no drama. He doesn't talk shit. He stays off the radar, off social media. My guy plays the receiver position like a mature veteran. And that shows out on the field. When he's out on the field, you can tell that the Seattle Seahawks play a little bit different. They play with a little more confidence. Sam Darnold has no issue throwing the ball deep because if it's going to JSN, he knows he's going to try to fight for it. The funny shit is that he's not even the biggest guy out on the field. He just wants it more. And that's something that you can't teach. You can't coach that. You can't force somebody to play well, to give their all and ball out. You just cannot fucking teach that. Even at work, you can't teach somebody to show effort, to pick up a shovel when you need help, to pick up an extra shift. Hey, if somebody is needing a ride, to be that one person on the phone and be like, hey, I'm headed, I live right by you, I can pick you up and take you to work. You don't got that, which is basically leadership. And he fucking killed it. I mean, Puka Nacua, Stafford put on a show, Darnold put on a show. It was a very explosive, very entertaining game that anybody could have won. I mean, you had a face mask that wasn't called on the Seahawks that would have put the Rams in scoring position. Who knows how that might have ended? That could have either been a field goal or a touchdown. At this point, it's up in the air. It's one of those probable scenarios that you're just going to be like, fuck it. The what ifs can drive you fucking nuts. Like, for example, what if Emmanuel Sanders had caught the pass from Jimmy Garoppolo down the middle when the Niners were playing Kansas City Chiefs? What if Kyle Shanahan had decided to go for it on 4th and 3 or on the 15-yard line with a minute and 15 left and decides to go for a field goal? What if he had actually went for it instead of kicking the field goal and giving the ball back to Kansas City with a minute and 10 seconds left for Patrick Mahomes to do damage? That is just stupid, right? And again, I have multiple scenarios, but I digress. So we go back to the Seahawks scenario, right? So they're doing great and they win. It's a team that now is going to play the Broncos. They're going to play the rookie sensation, Drake May, who has beaten the Broncos, which is the second best defense in the NFL. He also beat the Texans, who had the number 1 defense in the NFL. So there's a chance? Fuck, dude, at this point, I don't even know, bro. Fuck, dude. Like, by the way, this type of stupid shit these type of games is what traps you to bet and gamble. I swear to God. And if you guys don't gamble, good for you. But my dumb ass, let me tell you a little bit of the backstory here. So on Saturday, the UFC finally decided to show out, and on Paramount Plus, they had a championship bout between Patty Pillette and some guy named Quiche. You know what? His name escapes me, and I'm not going to be digging and diving for it because I want to get straight to the point. So I picked a parlay. I went on Prize Picks. No, they don't fund me. They don't pay me for this shit. So I'm simply saying their name because it's an app that I use. So Prize Picks, I get the app. I download the app, which I've used often. And I'm looking at the parlay of takedowns and all this shit. I have no idea who any of these fighters are. And I hit on every single one. So I'm over here and I'm like, I put $100 on UFC. I came back very profitable, actually. I'm not going to divulge the amount that was won, but let's just say I might or might not have enough to purchase a PS5 type of shit. Yeah, it was that good. So of course I'm on a fucking complete high, right? So I'm on cloud 9. My endorphins are fucking kicking. I'm feeling myself. I wake up on Sunday and I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna fucking pick all this crazy shit. I picked Lutz to kick 2 field goals because I figured, hey, it's gonna be in the snow. They might be kicking the ball a lot. And I'm gonna pick Drake May going over 200 yards. The Rams and the Seahawks are gonna be a complete fucking shootout. So I bit the over on a whole bunch of shit. I lost my ass. So lesson learned. You gotta have somebody in your ear to tell you, like, bro, you already won on Saturday, dude. Cash your chips in and get the fuck out. So I fell for the very trap that I often tell people, like, bro, once you're winning, dude, put your money away and either go play the penny slots or don't play at all. And I was so invested emotionally with this fucking game. And I'm sorry if I'm cussing so much, but it's a passionate rant here. Full disclaimer. I was so focused on wanting to see this game and how good it was going to be that I was just feeling myself. And then the Seahawks went up 7-3, and the Seahawks defense did what the Seahawks defense does, which is basically shut people down. So it didn't go out that way. Unfortunately, we didn't have the results that I would have liked, and the Seahawks are now going to the Super Bowl in Levi, in Santa Clara, where the San Francisco 49ers play, right next to the substation that everybody says is killing everybody's bodies and shit, which that's a whole different thing. But the whole thing also that you're kind of catching on when you look at the Rams and you look at the Seahawks, and I brought this up on a text thread with my compa. Like, if you notice, the Rams have a very solid slot receiver, strong as hell, quick, fast, reliable. That is Puka Nacua. The Seahawks have strong, fast, quick, reliable slot receiver who can also go deep if needed. JSN. Notice the similarities? Yeah, it's the same fucking player, just playing in different teams. But the makeup and mold of the player is the same. What do the Niners have? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute. We don't got nobody. It would have been Brandon Ayuk, but he's fucking batshit crazy. You know what I think is also happening with that guy, guys? That I think a lot of people is not being said, and some people are like, maybe the guy is not mentally well. I don't think so either. But what I think personally what happened is that, look at me fucking lowering my voice like I'm telling somebody a fucking secret. Like if you get there in the fucking room. Shit. All right, so, wait, check it out. Let me bring it. Here's a secret. I think that when he injured himself, I personally think that he actually was told by the doctors that he would never be the same type of wide receiver again. And that type of truth messed him up so much that now he has all types of hesitation of even coming back to the sport, because he knows that one more injury, his career is absolutely over. He can't do nothing. So you can do one or two things if you're an athlete. You either take that criticism and use it as fuel to better yourself and work the hell out of that leg to the point where you're back to normal, back to full strength. And I'll give you an example, Mr. Federico Warner. Or you go in self-destruct mode, like Brandon Ayuk. not show up to practice, don't go to physical therapy, post videos of you speeding and shit down Levi's, going up $100, and then posting some cryptic ass messages that it sounds like a fucking toddler wrote them, where nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. So that's that. But the Niners don't have that. They had that in Brandon Ayuk, but they don't have that anymore. They had a Ricky Pearsall who got blasted in the chest on his rookie year. Y'all remember that, right? Then he came back, showed some talent, but the guy cannot stay on the field. Ricky Pearsall is a solid freaking player if he was strong enough to stay healthy. But my guy is made of glass. Fucking turns the wrong route. He tweaks a fucking leg, ankle, a neck, an elbow, a shin, a toe, or some shit, a heel. And he's fucking down for 4 to 6 weeks. So, sadly and unfortunately, the Rams and the Seahawks will be back in this type of scenario moving forward, and we just have to suck it up. And the Niners do need to get young. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa now, I don't know if he's going to be the same when he comes back. I don't know if you trade him. Then you have Christian McCaffrey, who played his ass off this year. I hope they don't give him the same amount of touches that they did this year, because my guy is older, man. Like, he can't be doing this shit. You have George Kittle, who had a season ending knee injury, Achilles. So now he has to come back next year. Who knows if he's going to be the same. Fred Warner is barely coming back, but Fred Warner's a beast, so I'm not worried about him. But everybody else, you don't got nothing. You know, Brock Purdy is 6'1", which a lot of us are like, damn, that's kind of tall. Yeah, but I don't know if you've seen the guards and defensive tackles, they're like 6'4", 6'5". So Brock Purdy has to literally maneuver and run out of the pocket just so he can actually see downfield and launch the shit. And half the time, I don't know, there was a report said that half the time he doesn't even see the play. It's all based on anticipation. He just throws it where the route says it's going to be, and he just trusts that the wide receiver is going to be right there and do his job. That's crazy work if you really think about it. You're not even reading the field. You're not anticipating. It's just a shit show. You don't know where it's coming. Now, I can see where defenses might get a little bit of like frustrated with that because they're not going to be able to read it. But if you are a defensive coordinator and a good one, like the Seahawks have, like the Rams have, you're going to be able to pick out and single out the plays that Kyle Shanahan likes to call for Brock Purdy and understanding those limitations. And this is where I think next season is going to be a little bit different. You guys remember last season when Puka Nacua went absolutely off? Well, he went off this year again, but last season as well. Everybody was having a difficult time scheming against the Rams in that slot receiver play because Puka Nacua would have a shit ton of touches in every single game. So they decided to plan against it. So what did McVay do? He changed his plays. He instead went from a 2 tight end formation to a 3, which kind of threw defensive coordinators a little bit off because you're worried about 3 tight ends and Puka Nacua. They all run short routes. Who are you going to cover? Exactly, right? But he adjusted. Now, what is the league going to do for JSN? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see because typically speaking, the NFL works weird like that. They need to have a video on your ass for at least a solid year for them to kind of scheme against you. They did this against Colin Kaepernick years ago when he was with Jim Harbaugh. And that first initial season, Colin Kaepernick was destroying the league. He had such a freaking phenomenal year, and we just unfortunately fell short against the Seahawks, but then we made it and played against the Ravens, and we lost. Man, I'm sick and tired of these Super Bowl losses, man. It's just fucking disheartening. But it's the story of my team. That's all I got to say. So the other part that I also want to say for you first-time listeners, if you guys don't know what a compa is, and I think I've said it in reference on this video multiple times now, a compa is a compadre, how we say it in Spanish. And those of you who are blessed to have godfathers for your kids, depending on your on your religion, right? Sometimes you have those, sometimes you have, I don't even know what you would call them in different religions, so I'm not even going to try to even say it. But in our religion, in Christianity and Catholicism, we believe in godparents, right? So basically the godparents role is that basically if the parents are unable to keep up with or teach our own children the right way or the right path, the godparent is supposed to pave the way and be like a stand-in or a substitute or a parental figure in some way, shape, or form for that child. So if you fail at what you do, generally speaking, for Hispanic cultures in particular, it's a lot more meaningful because that's the role that you have. So if you are picked to be as a godparent, you're basically that kid's dad and mom, right? You're a version of that person, that kid's parents. And that can mean a lot of things. That can mean advice, not just gifts. That could mean an open conversation, involvement, birthdays, asking about the child, investing in that kid's upbringing, monitoring that kid. It's kind of like your own niece or nephew, right? It's like you have another extension of your kids as well. So I've been fortunate that my kids have had really wonderful godparents. And if you guys are blessed to have that, and if you are picked as a godparent, be thankful that you are and be blessed, because that is a blessing, because it is a big deal. And I know I give my compa shit, my compas, because I have another one up there in in Washington. And then I have my compadres that live here in Cali. And by the way, I need to do a better job about finding compadres, dude, because swear to God, bro, I can't even find one that's an actual Niner fan. To the level that I am anyway. I have compadres, some of them are Niner fans, but, you would think that I would pick people that are all fucking rooting for the same shit, right? No, fuck that. Of course, I picked the Raider one, right? And one of them is a diehard Raider fan, and the other one is a Seahawks fan. And then my other compa is a Niner fan, thank goodness. But he's the only one. So it's like every fucking NFL season, dude, it goes this way where, like, there's mad support on one, right? But he's a baseball coach. And he's primarily baseball. He does all types of sports, right? But he's more toned down. He's not as crazy as he used to be years ago. He's more like lessened. But then you have my dieharders over here. And I'm part of these group chats, by the way, in these text threads that are fucking crazy. It's bad enough with my nieces and nephews, but now also with my family from Washington, there's a lot of shit going on back and forth in the chat. And I always feel bad for my compa, who's a Raider fan. Because, and if he's listening, Chato, this is for you, bro. I always feel fucking bad, dude. It's like the team is so bad, you expect it to go bad, that when they actually win a game, it's like a constant rewarding of a participation trophy and shit. Like, oh, here's the lollipop, you won a game. Here's the lollipop, you won a game. It's been like that for a long time. You know what? Matter of fact, while we do this podcast, right, let's go ahead and dig in a little bit. And apologies if this one is just kind of going off the beaten path, but I said from the very beginning of this episode, this one's gonna be a little bit different. So let me Google this shit. Last time the Raiders went to the Super Bowl. Let's see. Gosh, I can't even find it. This is fucking tough. Why am I doing this shit? One, I'm sorry, Pete, if you're listening to this shit, bro. I'm not trying to fucking destroy your team. It's just like I'm looking at their stats, yo. Last time the Raiders won a Super Bowl was in 1980. That's the last time they won. And then, gosh, dude, I can't even find the last time they even went to the playoffs, dude. What the fuck? I know it's here somewhere. Let me see. Full list of Vegas. I know they've gone to a Super Bowl where they lost against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because ownership decided to fire Chucky and give them to Tampa Bay and never bothered changing the fucking playbook. Mensos. And then they lost. And then the one that was completely robbed was the whole entire Tom Brady, was it a pass or not a pass thing. So, you know what? I think I might have to bring out the big gun because I can't find it here. I'm going to have to ask Chat GPT, buddy, my favorite bud, asking some weird-ass questions. Let's see. Last playoff appearance for the Oakland Raiders. It's buffering, it's thinking. So anyway, oh my gosh. Okay, last playoff appearance was in 2021. It wasn't too bad. They lost the AFC wildcard against Cincinnati on January 15th in 2022, and the Bengals won 26-19. And then before that, the last time the Raiders made the playoffs was in 2016. The AFC wildcard at Houston on January 7th, 2017, and the Raiders lost 14-27. And I think that's the season that Derek Carr was having a great year and he lost it, right? Raiders last Super Bowl appearance. Damn it. All right. So this is the last one, and then I'll go back to the topic. It was against the Buccaneers in 2003. That's the last time. So it's been 21 years since the Raiders have been to the Super Bowl, and it's since 2021 since they actually made the playoffs. So they haven't advanced since then. I think the farthest they've gone was probably a wild card, and that's about it. They haven't really made to the other division. But back to the whole Copa conversation. So I just want to say something to end I'll end the podcast on this one thing. We are always thinking about friendships and family and who we care about and who we invite to our family and who we want to be surrounding our kids, right? Because these days you just never know. And there was something that was told to me back in high school. And I remember hearing this from my dad. And it was one of the few moments where my dad actually has some wise things to say, apart from other stuff. But during that time, I was actually listening for whatever reason on this one, but that's a whole different story. And one of the things that he told me is, you know, the circle of friends that you will have in middle school is going to slowly shrink to the ones you get in high school, to the ones you get after high school, to the point where basically you're going to be able to count your true friends in one hand. And within those friends that you can count in one hand, and listen to this one in particular, you're going to have three versions of friendships. You're going to have your ride or die, you're going to have your confidant, and you're going to have your vault. And I'm going to describe the three. The vault is someone that you can pick up the phone and call, and you can tell them your deepest, darkest, most macabre fucking secrets you can think of, whether you're cheating on your wife, whether you're gay. I don't know why the fuck I'm going there, but no, I'm not either of those, and I'm not doing any of that. I'm just providing examples, folks, so calm the hell down. But you could pick up the phone and talk to those people, and then they'll never say anything to anyone, and they'll take those secrets to their grave. The confidant. The confidant is somebody who you can tell secrets to, but they also put you in your place, and they're the one friend that will tell you like it is. It's the only friend that will not sugarcoat shit, will piss you off at times. You'll probably not even want to talk to them after all the honest truth that they tell you. Right? And then you have your ride or die. The ride or die is exactly what it is. You pick up the phone, you tell them to come pick you up. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. No questions asked. They just show up. And I can honestly say that I've been blessed to have those people in my life. And my children are blessed to have those people that I just described be my compadres, or a version thereof. I know that I can pick them out from a lineup. I can call them at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and they will be there at the drop of a dime. No questions asked. I know that I can tell them whatever I want, whenever I want, about my shit that's going on, whether it's my mental state, and I know that they'll always listen. In their own funny, quirky way, they'll try to make you laugh, because that's just what friends do. So if you listening are blessed to have any versions of these folks, those are unicorns, and consider yourself blessed. And I feel like I am blessed every single day when I pick up the phone and I look at my text message and I see my friends like that. Because not many of us have that. There's a lot of people out there that are on our Rolodex or in your contacts, but at the end of the day, they're not about that. If you have friends that are constantly wanting to change you because their spouse tells them to, that's not really it. Your friends should be able to accept you and fight for you how you are. Not necessarily justify it and say, hey man, you got to take him as is. No, not that. But it's deeper than that. So I digress, and I'll go back to the NFL. We're going to enjoy the Super Bowl, y'all. That's coming up in the next couple of weeks. And let's look at the line on that one. Let's see if I'm going to bet some shit. I got money in the account, so let's see what the fuck's going on. All right. So there is no fan base. It's a neutral stadium. So, but it is the West Coast. So the Seahawks are more than likely going to show out on this one. It's expected. And the Seattle is favored by 4.5. So basically a touchdown. The over-under, however, this one I find interesting. The over-under is 46. So they're expecting to be about 23 game, or 26-20 game. So who knows? It's going to be a tight defensive game. The Patriots have a solid defense. I don't know how they're going to scheme up against JSN. I don't know how the Seahawks are going to scheme up against Drake May, because Drake May is pretty mobile. I don't know how the Seahawks do against that style of player. They like to play zone a lot. They might have to play man-to-man on this one, which will expose their safeties and their corners a little bit. I don't see, apart from Stephon Diggs, the Patriots having another deep threat. So who knows? It's going to be an interesting one. Will Drake May, a rookie, win a Super Bowl? Fuck, that's going to be crazy to watch. But anyway, I digress. Like I said, I wanted to dedicate this episode to my compa John and my compa Pete. Sorry, I blasted your team, bro, over here fucking catching strays and shit. You didn't even fucking call for it. But apart from that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, this was a very passionate rant about NFL and sports. I promise I will go back into the normal shit later on this week. I do want to touch on into Minnesota, the wrongful killing of a gentleman who was managing his Second Amendment right to bear arms, had a right to carry and conceal in Minnesota. ICE agents stopped him. He was holding a phone. And again, somebody loses their life at the hands of ICE agents. So I don't want to dive into much of that one, because I think I did an episode of what I feel about that organization and what it's turning into. I will be exploring a little bit of rights that you, yourself, the listener, and family that are confronting these individuals, your rights. But I don't want to end it on that somber note. In the meanwhile, Enjoy the rest of your evening. Today's date is January. Yeah, it is January, right? Yeah. What the fuck? Dude, I'm tired. January 26th, 2026. Enero 26, 2026. El tiempo es 4:40. The time is 4:40 p.m. Either way, enjoy your evening. God bless. Be safe. Be well. And most importantly, self-love and good night. Thank you for listening.